from? Oh, sure, the average man, not these guys. The incel community, 100%. Or they might be on the opposite end of that dynamic, right? Where they think that they actually are like the disprivileged class, which again, we've talked about this before. But basically, all conservatives kind of comes down. It all basically boils down to like we should ruin everything for everyone because I'm not getting laid. So I guess it's just like an extension of that. It's the same with racism, right? Like so much racial animus is made manifest in the form of like resentment towards, in our case, black men's perceived sexual superiority. They do the same thing over in Korea. Did you know that in Korea and in China, they both have massive incel communities that say the same things about black men, even though there are like no black people in either country? There are like no black people in South Korea. But the idea of like big, monstrous, sexually virile, big dicked black men their women is really prominent over there. And it's like, dude, leaving aside like the whole everything, you literally like don't have black people in your country. What the what are you, where are you getting this from? And it's like a psychosexual disease that's transmitted through the internet. Like they got it from us. They got it from us. Like they look at our internet and they get the same disease. It's like a mimetic virus. It's crazy. I don't know, man. Doesn't help that porn is super racist. Yeah, but who made porn racist, right? Like it's again, none of this comes from nowhere. It's not like a coincidence or whatever. The Jews is what they'd say. They'd probably blame the Jews, yeah. Anyway, yeah. It's just very, I've seen this video so many goddamn times and people get so mad at it every time, and it's just like it's nothing. It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. I don't even understand the actual video. It's just them being goofy. I don't think there's anything to understand. There's not any underlying meaning to it. Whatever you see when you watch it is what other people see when they watch it. You're not missing out on any context. I can't tell you how many like times I've seen that video in like a 60K like tweet from a guy saying like, this or tariffs. I choose the tariffs. What are you talking about, man? They just hate women. It's been known to happen, yeah. Do they hate women that much? Yes. Have you seen talk about women? I don't think they hide it. I don't even think they try to hide it at all. I really do think that like a lot of what we're dealing with right now is just a consequence of the fact that it used to be that you didn't have to try to get a wife, and now you have to try. And I don't know. I don't know, man. There's a lot of guys out there who don't put any effort in at all. And I'm not talking about clothes or appearance or anything. I'm talking like holistically in their life. Like they make no effort whatsoever to be desirable people. And there are women who are like that, sure. And those women tend to be treated quite poorly by society. Like people don't tend to think very much of them. And there are guys who do that. And they may or may not be like poorly regarded, but for the most part, I don't think women create like, I don't know, neo-Nazi social movements in an effort to secure husbands. Another video of right-wing people getting angry for no reason. Oh yeah, I saw this one. Weak men create hard times, and it's a guy using a little lift to raise up the trash. And the punchline to this video is that the person recording it is a construction worker on a construction site. I have seen what construction workers have to do because they've been legally mandated to do it after some other guy got injured by trying to showboat. I don't think you're in a position to make fun of other people. You are like, your entire industry is people like either circumventing or being subjected to stringent safety requirements to prevent you guys from throwing your backs out or like dying, you know? Imagine being a construction worker and making fun of other people for being slow in doing their job. I'm not, mother. I've seen your goddamn, I've seen what your work looks like, okay? I drive by it every day. We have no idea how heavy that bag is. Can you imagine how mentally ill you have to be to see some like wagey worker lifting up a garbage bag this way and being like, let's record it to make fun of them online? Like, can you imagine like where your mind has to be at? Like, why the do you care? Frankly, I think caring about shit like this is a female attribute. You're like a fishwife. You're like a gossiping hen, you know? Like if you were a real man, you would be working on the job site doing work. Instead, you're like a female. You're skipping work to observe others and giggle about it, you know? I don't know. I don't know. I agree. Weak men create hard times. I just think you got to turn the camera around. So what you're saying is women are bourgeois? I'm saying that, yeah. I'm willing to say that. Not in construction, but similar. I have to ask for help for lifting something over 50 pounds. Listen, you should get out of your phase of wanting to prove how strong you are on the job site once you turn like 22, okay? Because past a point, like every time you lift something heavy, especially something heavy with improper leverage, you're rolling dice. It literally doesn't matter how strong you are, because if the leverage is poor or if something happens, like your muscle strength isn't what's being tested. It's the physical, like it's the lever mechanics of your body and what gives first. Will the tension be placed on the muscle or on the bone or the tendon, you know? And that's not, it's not a strength thing. Like you can strengthen your tendons to an extent with regular exercise, but also I've seen construction workers, and a lot of you guys do not look like you're getting up at 6:30 in the morning for a jog, so you've got a lot of weight on you. I doubt you're doing a lot of like, you know, heavy compound lifting to strengthen your tendons in the day to day. Just saying, be careful. Men also seem to be proud of ruining their bodies to impress their buddies. Yeah, you're vulnerable to peer pressure, which makes you like weak, you know? Like the strong man will have 18-inch biceps and say, no, I'm going to wait for the crane to come in because I don't think that my big muscles should mean that I have to risk my health completing the job. And the weak man will say, well, I'm gonna like overcompensate and perform strength at my, like, for personal risk, because I would rather bear risk to my own body than suffer the shame and indignity of other people judging me for being sensible. Real strength is knowing your limits. Real strength is knowing that injury rarely has to do with testing your limits. Like for every person who injures themselves because they're like lifting a fridge or something and it's just more than their body can handle, there are 20 people who injured themselves because they lifted something that weighs 5 pounds, but because it only weighs 5 pounds, they just like bent down to pick it up with their back a little bit twisted, and then they stood up quickly. You know, it's like it's very rarely like actually the strength of the muscle, and usually being careless. Yep, bend at the waist, quick twist and a little grab, absolutely every time. Twisting, grinding motion, big 10 hands in a hoop. Yes. Work as lazy as possible so you can work as long as possible. That's right. You know that's right. It's the same everywhere in fascism. For example, here in India, there's a whole craze over muscular Hinduism. A lot of Modi supporters constantly praise him for apparently having a 56-inch chest. Modi does not have a 56-inch chest. Is that a joke? There's no, is that a mistranslation? Do you mean 56 centimeters halfway across? So like 112 centimeters? There is absolutely no way this man has a 56-inch chest. At his height, he would have to be like the biggest guy in the world or something. There's no way. Damn, his tits must be huge. Yeah, he's got a binder on. Trump might be a 56. He's tall and he's got a barrel chest. I'm a 44 and I'm 6'2", so you can like proportion that out however you want. This is why women are ruining society. That's true. Experts worry of a possible bear market. Aren't we objectively in a bear market right now? Get 56-inch chest workout. Rubal Dankar. What the fuck is this? This guy doesn't have a 56-inch chest. Dude, nobody has a 56-inch chest unless you're like very tall or very fat. The muscle on its own is not enough to bring your... That's mine plus an entire extra foot added to the ruler tape. Even very developed pectoral muscles are not going to push that tape out by a foot. Samsung Dwara, who is the current Mr. Olympia, has a 56-inch chest. Yeah, this is like Mr. Olympia shit. I mean, again, depending on your height. I don't think you got his name right though. Unless you did? Yeah, here we go. The guy on the left, I assume. Like that, I'll believe 54 inches or 56 inches or whatever. Anyway, this is not relevant. This is not germane to the stock market collapse. Wall Street could soon be in the clutches of another bear market as the Trump administration's tariff blitz fuels fear that the added taxes on imported goods from around the world would sink the global economy. Maybe. A bear market's turned by 20%. S&P 500 is now down 18.4%. Ooh, we're going to see. We're going to see. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're going back down. Is this the S&P 500? Which index are we looking at? Oh, no. The Dow. Because of the numbers. You know it's bad when the top linked video on AP News is literally just a live feed of the stock market ticker. Like not even any commentary, just like watching it go. That's funny. Man, watching it move this much moment by moment is insane. Normally when you watch the ticker, it does not fluctuate like fractions of a percent. Like not hundredths, but tenths fractions of a percent second by second. Yeah, every second that passes, it's billions of dollars up and down. It's the last hour of trading. Yes, we'll have to see how it goes. Oh, This is just more hype-oriented reaction. No, it's always hype-oriented reaction. There's not a direct connection between actual market performance, or sorry, I should say like economic reality and market performance. I mean, there's usually like a follow-along. There's like a correlation, but God only knows, you know, how that actually... It's all vibes. But the vibes do matter. Like, the vibes are important. Beep, beep, beep. Oh my God, it just went down to 1.35% down. Literally, take 1 second to stand up, look back at stock market, $100 billion erased. Oh my God, man. Jesus Christ. Oh, back up, 0.1%. Ooh. All right, okay, we're gonna give that a bit. We're gonna give that a little bit, okay? Beep, beep.
All right, y'all, so it brings me no joy to present to you this next segment here, but it is what it is, and it's super ugly and dark. So, as you all know, Donald Trump, half the time on the campaign trail when he brought up foreign policy, he would say stuff like, Liz Cheney is a warmonger. She only wants to shoot people. Kamala Harris is a warmonger. He even did some of that in his first run in 2016, where he would go after the Iraq war, right? And it left this impression on some people that, oh, this guy must be anti-war. Look at that thing that he said. Now, of course, the thing that these people are missing is they're latching on to the comments of Trump that they like. And they're disregarding and ignoring when he contradicts himself and says the exact opposite. In his first run, he said on the campaign, we're going to bomb the shit out of him. That's what we're going to do. We're going to bomb the shit out of him. We're going to take the gloves off. He literally said in his first run, talking about ISIS, he goes, we have to take out their families. Don't kid yourself. We have to take out their families. So openly advocating for murdering civilians, which is advocating for terrorism, which is a war crime in like 50 different ways. And these people would just ignore the pro-war stuff and latch onto the anti-war stuff. And that always sort of drove me crazy because the proof is in the pudding, right? The devil's in the details, to say two cheesy phrases back to back. The point is, what did he actually do in office? And as you all know, he was massively pro-war. He was a colossal neocon. And now in his second term, he's raising the stakes even more. He's graduated from neocon to 1800-style imperialist and colonialist. So now it's all hanging out, right? I don't even think he mentioned Greenland on the campaign trail this time. I don't think he mentioned Panama on the campaign trail this time. But now, we have to have it. We have to have it. We're going to take it. There were reports that they're literally drafting up plans on how to take Panama with force. Well, now, yet again, he's added another country to the list because he can't fucking help himself. He's completely unhinged, completely unchained. And so he had a meeting with the genocidal, bloodthirsty war criminal Netanyahu in the White House the other day. By the way, yet again, he pulled out his seat for him, which at this point is starting to look like some sort of humiliation ritual that he has to go through, right? What dirt? What dirt does Israel and Mossad have on Trump? What dirt do they have on, like, RFK Jr.? Because these guys certainly act like they are not independent agents, like they are serving Israel, right? So they have a discussion in the White House, in the Oval Office, and listen to what Trump says here about Gaza. This is astonishing.
Well, you know how I feel about the Gaza Strip. I think it's an incredible piece of important real estate, and I think it's something that we would be involved in, but, having a peace force like the United States there, controlling and owning the Gaza Strip would be a good thing.
Having a peace force there like the United States controlling and owning the Gaza Strip would be a good thing. Look at how casual and nonchalant he is with the most obvious violations of international law and human rights and sovereignty that I've ever seen in my life. Do you understand what a peace force means? It means U.S. boots on the ground. Our military, boots on the ground in Gaza, doing Israel's dirty work, helping them finish the genocide and the ethnic cleansing. And ultimately, what does he want to do? Let's put some casinos. Let's put some casinos. Let's put some hotels. Let's put them right on the beach. It'll be beautiful. It'll be wonderful. We'll make a lot of money. He always refers to Gaza as real estate. Think about how dark that is. You have 2.3, or at least you did, have 2.3 million people who were there. And he's talking about brazenly stealing it, kicking them off somewhere else. Jesus Christ.
Because right now, all it is for years and years, all I hear about is killing and Hamas and problems. And if you take the people, the Palestinians, and move them around to different countries, and you have plenty of countries that will do that.
He's talking like what kind of sandwich he's going to have for lunch. And he's advocating ethnic cleansing. I keep telling people, man, there's this fallacy that people have growing up in the imperial core where you feel like, well, look, when we do bad things, we mean well, so it doesn't count as much as like when the Nazis do bad things, right? Because they didn't even mean well. They were evil and they kind of knew they were evil. At what point are you comfortable saying we're evil and we know they were evil? Listening to the way that this guy talks, listening to how the mask has come off. I hate to tell you, we are not immune from the same failures as every other empire in history. Every empire tells themselves some bullshit story about how they're the good guys and they're spreading the right values around the world. That is not the case. We are the baddies. This is evil. And he's so casual about it. I mean, guys, when Russia invaded Ukraine, we all rightly were furious and aghast at the idea that in today's day and age, somebody could just impose on another country's independence and sovereignty that brazenly and just try to steal the territory. And Putin said, like, it's a fake country. It's not even a real country. I don't know why I just gave Putin the Trump accent. But he said it's a fake country, that really it's ours, right? And then now he's doing it with Greenland, with Panama, with Gaza. We're going to get to Yemen in just a second. Mexico's another one that's on the... It's so casual. Like, yeah, we're going to own it. What does that even mean? You have no legal right, no legal authority, no moral authority, wanton violation of international law. It's a war crime. It's just... I don't understand how else to explain to people that this is so far beyond the pale. I don't know how else to explain to people what has been going on in Gaza. Now, a new poll just came out, and the unfavorability rating for Israel absolutely skyrocketed. It's never been this high in American history. So with all the propaganda and we've heard this our whole lives about, oh, the bond is so strong, it's an unbreakable bond, and this and that bullshit. Well, guess what? The American people are slowly but surely waking up where they're seeing what's happening to innocent Palestinians, and they're going, nah, dog, nah. I'm not with a country that can carpet bomb innocent people on a daily basis and act like it's totally hunky-dory. And so the people are waking up. But look at our leaders, bro. Look at our leaders. These are genocidal freaks. Imagine how the history books are going to look back at this moment with these fucking monsters in control.
You really have a freedom zone. You call it the freedom zone, a free zone, a zone where people aren't going to be killed every day. That's a hell of a place. You know what I call it? A great location that nobody wants to live in because they really don't. And when they have good living, real living, where Hamas and all of the problems they have, the level of death on the Gaza Strip is just incredible.
Where's that death coming from? Where's that death coming from, Donald? It's literally the guy to your right. Why are people so passive with their language when it comes to Israel? Why are you so, you act like it was a natural disaster or something, like a hurricane went through, an earthquake happened, and all these people lost their lives. No, it has been relentless carpet bombing of innocent people. It has been IDF goons and thugs and gangsters sniping little children in the face, in the head. In fact, what was it, the New York Times or the Washington Post? I think it was the New York Times, had an article where they explained in detail, hey, dog, we got countless corpses over here of children, and they were shot in the face. And then a bunch of Zionists were like, that's not true, man. How dare you say that? There's no evidence of that. And the New York Times responded, and they were like, we literally have pictures, and we didn't release them because they were so disturbing, but, this shit is real, dog, and we got all the evidence in the world. I don't get it. I don't get it. How can you have a situation where on a regular basis, schools are bombed? On a regular basis, hospitals are bombed. You have nightmare stories where there's, on average, 10 amputations per day of little kids' arms and legs with no anesthesia whatsoever. Literal hell on earth, a nightmare. And, things just keep moving forward. As if we're not witnessing a literal Holocaust in the year 2025. I don't know how to shake people out of their complacency. I've tried. Lord knows I've tried. I know you guys have tried. But, what do you do? When this is the point that we're at, where they're, casually discussing a final solution for 2.3 million people in front of the world? This alone, you should have all these people should be arrested. How are we going to let these people get away with this? They're just the most insane criminals I've ever seen in my life, the amount of death and destruction and harm they've inflicted. And Trump talks about it so passively, as if it's just a fact of nature, right? It's a law of nature. Oh, these bad things happen to the Palestinians. Gee, I wonder how that occurred. Because the guy next to you decided, I want to kill all of them and kick them off their land.
I've said it. I don't understand why Israel ever gave it up. Israel owned it. It wasn't this man, so I can say it. He wouldn't have given it up. I know him very well.
What the fuck is he talking about? What the fuck is he talking about? This land was Palestinians' land. Oh my God.
No way. They took oceanfront property and they gave it to people for peace. How did that work out?
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. Israel, they're so dedicated to peace. They're so dedicated to peace. They're always doing the right thing, and it's those dastardly Palestinians that are always screwing it up. Who can believe this? Anybody who has any understanding of history looks at it and goes, literally the exact opposite is true. Who has all the money? Who has all the power? Who has all the weapons? Who's doing the bulk of the killing? What are we talking about? This is who this guy is. God, I have to say it, but it really is true. Literally anybody who fucking came out and pretended like Donald Trump was anti-war, or even just more anti-war than Kamala and Biden, every single one of those people should never be heard from again. They should just fucking retire, go pick up a different profession, get a different hobby. Don't fucking waste your time. Don't waste your breath. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you ignored evidence that was right in front of your face this entire fucking time about how massively pro-war this monster is. But I'm not done. So here, this was him saying about Gaza. Yeah, boots on the ground, U.S. invasion of Gaza. Literally wants Americans to now go fight and die on behalf of a bloodthirsty Zionist genocidal regime. Okay, ready? The U.S. air campaign against the Houthis isn't working. Oh, no shit. We talked about that the other day. It's been a massive failure. They've spent nearly $1 billion. They're running out of the specific bombs they use for this. More. So things are moving to the next phase. Discussions of a ground offensive led by the internationally recognized government out of Aden with U.S. and potential Saudi Arabian and UAE support. He's also considering boots on the ground for an advisory role in fucking Yemen. Is anybody keeping a running track of this, man? Why do I feel like we're the only ones who talk about this? We got Panama, we got Greenland, we got Denmark, we got Mexico, we got Iran, we got Yemen, we got Somalia. I know I'm missing a bunch of others. Ecuador, apparently. We learned that the other day. A center-left government might win in Ecuador, and they're talking about sending troops there. I've never seen anything like this in modern American history. I know we've always had a horrible foreign policy record when we became the global superpower. Everybody knows that. But there was a time in the middle there where the U.S. at least felt the need to pretend human rights matter, justice matters, international law matters. And so that's why, even if you go back to the Iraq War, they tried to do a massive propaganda effort and make this argument of like, Saddam Hussein is a threat. He helped do 9/11. He's going to attack us. He's violating UN law. We need to take his nuclear weapons away. Oh my God, he's not listening to the UN. There was this veneer of seriousness and international law, and hey, we're just following the process. And Bush even had a fucking vote at the UN, right? This is something Michael Tracy reminded me of the other day. And now, it's just, let's not even pretend anymore. We are a fucking mafia. This is a mafia gangster. This is a thug who's running this country. And unilaterally making decisions, doesn't give a fuck about anyone else or anything else. And the reality also is, as you all know, he's taken hundreds of millions of dollars from pro-Israel interests. Sheldon Adelson, Miriam Adelson. And now he's paying them back. So at the core of this, on top of being a horrific human being, there's also a colossal amount of bribery and corruption where he's totally fine. He will aid and abet and help out every step of the way the massacre of more innocent Palestinians. That's what he'll do. And then he'll try to steal Gaza. And then he'll turn it over to Israel. And they all think, these people really think that they'll never have to pay the piper. And eventually, we'll end up on top. Well, as you're seeing economically with the stock market crash and the trade war, and as you're going to see when it comes to foreign policy, I think the world is already past the point of putting up with any more U.S. bullshit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to lead to a transition period that we can't even wrap our minds around right now, what we're going to have to deal with the implosion of the economy, with the loss of status as the world superpower, being isolated and alienated from people who were our allies, who Trump ruined our relationship with them. And so here we go. Boots on the ground in Gaza, boots on the ground in Yemen. So casual about it, so casual. Just like we had the hands-off protest the other day, we need another one. I think they're planning one on April 19th, another one on April 19th. Last time they said there were millions. Shit, we're going to have to get to the point where it is tens of millions or maybe 100 million people out there. You got to scare the shit out of these psychopaths because left unchecked, they will do the most barbaric things you've ever seen in your life and not think twice about it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to. All right, y'all. So Jon Stewart is not buying the Trump team bullshit on the tariffs, and he did a long segment on it. Let's watch and we'll break it down. Here we go.
Calm down. Everything's going to be okay.
I would not worry at all.
The Dow's actually in the same place it was in August.
Do me a favor, don't look at your stock portfolio.
You know what? I don't really care about my 401k.
Live, laugh, love. That's what I always say. You know what I say to all you? It's 401k somewhere.
She really is a drunk.
And when did the right become so chill? Aren't you the Bud Lights turning my kids trans, folks? But economic meltdown and you're getting all philosophical?
Losing money costs you nothing. This is just the reality of life. Like, were you young and dumb? How much money did you lose? Everyone loses money. Everyone loses money. It costs you nothing.
Except money. Losing money costs you money. It's the definition of losing money. And I know you go, well, it's going to be worth it to get the character of the country that we want back again. But we have no f***ing idea if that's actually what's going to happen. You're all acting like the tariff regime is a tried and true remedy. Oh, of course, this is the medicine that's always prescribed. Except the last time it was tried 100 years ago, we had a Great Depression.
There's literally no getting around that. Smoot-Hawley was an epic disaster. It exacerbated the Great Depression. The other thing I always point out, universal tariffs are crazy. They're universal. They're not targeted. And also, there's no industrial policy. There's no big effort to subsidize U.S. industry here at home to make sure we create jobs and prop up industries that we want here. There's none of that. It's total austerity with universal tariffs. It is economic insanity. They really are as stupid as you think they are. They might even be dumber.
How does this work?
It's just a big game of economic operation as he's sticking things in, trying to take out tariffs.
It's like, you know, when you're my age, you got to get a colonoscopy. You need a full colonic, like, to feel better. You know what I mean?
Rat poison can kill somebody in the wrong dosages, but in the right dosages, that could be very healthy for the patient.
So everyone relax. This is merely a routine rat poison colonoscopy. By the way, what's the right dosage of rat poison? Oh, if you get enough of it, hey, your headache will be gone. And by the way, I mean, it's slightly off topic, but the colonoscopy guy, his name is John Tobacco. That's a witness protection thing, isn't it? So here's how it's going to go. Your new name is John Tobacco. Say it back to me, John Tobacco. Your name is John Tobacco. Say it back to me, John Tobacco. Your new profession is you do anus metaphors on Newsmax. Your name is John Tobacco. You do anus metaphors. Say it back to me. Say it back to me. By the way, if Trump wants us to stay the course with his radical plan, you might want to think of a strategy that inspires our confidence, that you all know what you're doing. Like for instance, these tariffs. Is this a negotiation?
The president made it clear yesterday this is not a negotiation.
Let me make this very clear. This is not a negotiation. This is not that. This is a national emergency.
Okay, it's a national emergency. It's not a negotiation. Well, I don't agree, but at least I have some clarity now.
The tariffs give us great power to negotiate. Always have.
Oh, my God, bro. They literally can't even get their own story straight, dog. Oh, my God. What are you supposed to do with this? What are you supposed to do with this?
Too much rat poison. So what, is this a negotiation or is this permanent?
They can both be true. There can be permanent tariffs, and there can also be negotiations.
How much White Lotus did you people watch? What is permanence in this negotiated life we live? Have a pina colada. Forget about if they're permanent or not permanent. What are we doing? How will this bring jobs back? What are these jobs? Commerce Secretary Lutnick.
Trillions of dollars of factories are going to be built in America. The army of millions and millions of human beings screwing in little screws to make iPhones. That kind of thing is going to come to America.
Oh my God. They keep saying too, like, oh, we're going to bring back textile manufacturing, which, number one, you're not. That's not happening. That's not happening. Number two, why don't they realize, like, high-tech, high-skilled manufacturing would be the direction the U.S. should go, which is why Biden did the CHIPS Act, which creates 115,000 high-paying manufacturing jobs for semiconductors, for microchips. Like, they really haven't fucking thought any of this through. And again, I'll point out one more time, there are no jobs that are going to come back here. None. The manufacturing boom is not happening. In fact, the opposite's happening. More factories that were going to open are now shutting down because they're not doing any industrial policy. And now with the tariffs, you just made the cost of building a factory way higher and they can't afford it and it's not fucking profitable. So it's not like, this is what I'm trying to impress upon people. Even if you think, yes, I want there to be textile manufacturing, I want people to be screwing in tiny little screws. Even if you want that, that is also not going to happen.
This is also that millions of Americans can develop the dexterity. I can't even get the lint out of the charging area on my phone. Now I got to do the Those are the jobs?
That kind of thing is going to come to America. It's going to be automated, and great Americans, the trade craft of America, is going to fix them. Mechanics.
Do you understand? He's saying, no, actually, we're going to automate it. And then effectively what he's saying is, we're going to create U.S. jobs to maintain the robots that are going to do the actual work. So it's not even about bringing back the jobs. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Robotics. That's what's coming to America.
So it's not the screws. We're going to be robot mechanics. The robots do the screwing, and we're just there to make sure the robots are lubed and ready to screw.
This is all as ridiculous as you think it is. This is all as ridiculous as you think it is. And again, I'll say it one more time. None of those things are going to happen because they didn't do industrial policy. There's no subsidies. Biden did in industrial policy. He did subsidies. 800,000 manufacturing jobs were coming back. 115,000 for the CHIPS Act alone. They froze all of that funding. They froze all that funding. So effectively they said, we actually don't want your 800,000 manufacturing jobs. We're just going to do tariffs and hope that businesses in the free market will go, oh, I'm going to build a factory for the tiny little screws. Like, what the fuck?
That is the American Renaissance. We are robot fluffers. We are waiting. This is all. So if I'm an American manufacturer, how long do these onerous tariffs have to stay in place to convince me to build my army of automated screw and robot mechanics?
They are definitely going to stay in place for days and weeks.
John Stewart from Popular Robot Mechanics. I've never built a fully automated robot factory before, but is days and weeks enough time? Or too much time? Feels like it would take a month. Well, I guess that's silver lining number one of this trade war. Want something even more underwhelming? Here's the Treasury Secretary on if we've heard the good news on the stock collapse.
One thing that I can tell you as the Treasury Secretary, what I've been very impressed with is the market infrastructure, that we had record volume on Friday, and everything is working very smoothly, so the American people, they can be very, take great comfort in that.
Is he literally bragging that the system didn't collapse in the sense that you buy something or you sell something and the order goes through? Is that literally...
Blink twice if you want to be saved. I was very impressed that in a market crash, the building is still standing. You know, the captain of I was very impressed by the way that the Titanic just slid into the water. Almost like it was taking a bath. Just dipping a toe. Those drowning should take great comfort in the lack of backsplash. But their best argument so far for any of this is the same one that we got about Tinkerbell being able to fly. You have to believe.
Don't panic, okay? You've got a president who understands business.
I am grateful for a commander-in-chief that has the business acumen.
Luckily, we have a businessman in the White House right now. The president did write the book, The Art of the Deal.
He went bankrupt 6 times, y'all. He inherited hundreds of millions of dollars from his dad. He was part of the Lucky Sperm Club. He was born on third and... Wait, he was born on... How does the saying go? He was born on third and thought he hit a triple. I think that's what it is. He went bankrupt 6 times. And also, by the way, if you go read about his business history, and you'll find out, first of all, just a litany of absolute failures. He sold Trump steaks, and he sold them only at the Sharper Image. For those of you that don't remember what the Sharper Image is, it was like a mall store back in the early 2000s that sold like gadgets and widgets, like a chair that massages you or something. And he sold steaks only at the Sharper Image. Trump the board game. He got in, get this, guys. He got into the mortgage business in 2006, right before the massive crash. He has a track record of stiffing his workers left and right. Electricians and plumbers, the people who actually built his hotels and casinos. He stiffed them. And this is the guy that they're, bro, you got to believe he knows what he's doing, bro.
He's a master negotiator, and he does know the art of the deal.
Oh.
We're supposed to trust this guy because he wrote The Art of the Deal. That's it. You ever say, I got the book, Art of the Deal. Yeah, that's why we're supposed to trust him. You ever look at chapter 9 in Art of the Deal? It's about how smart Trump is about his casino in Atlantic City. Oh, yeah, chapter 9. I built a casino in Atlantic City. I'm a business genius. Whatever happened to the casino, Donald?
Being in the cult really does rely on not knowing anything. Like being in the Trump cult, it really does rely on that. At this point, it's inexcusable. He's been on the public scene as a political figure since 2015 in the races, right? Like, and you don't know these things about him? That's not a red flag to you? I mean, it's inexcusable.
Trust me. Look, you make a big announcement, but your reciprocal tariff formula was just the trade deficit divided by imports equation. And when you got busted on that, you threw out this ridiculous calculus problem that's just shapes. That it boils down to the trade deficit divided by imports, which is the formula that got the rich country of Lesotho hit with 50% tariffs. Lesotho. Yo, your free ride's over, you denim-making fat cats. But we continue to blame everybody else in the world that we designed and policed after World War II. We're the richest country in the world, ever. We're not the world's victims. If we have inequalities in this country, that's on us. It's not a supply problem. It's not unfair trade for the most part. It's an investment and distribution problem. It's our fucking fault. And I'm not saying we can't make adjustments and renegotiate things, but it didn't have to be this reckless.
He's so right. Oh, my God. It's so true. Trump is convinced, we're getting screwed. We're getting robbed by all these other countries. We designed this global trade system. We designed it. And the real problem has always been the corporations and their race to the bottom. All of these things were crafted for massive corporate profits, right? And the real answer to that is redistribution of wealth. There was another RAND study came out. What was it? The top 1% stole, was it 80 trillion or 90 trillion from the bottom 90% since the mid-1970s? Like, what you need is New Deal politics. Higher taxes on the rich, redistribution of wealth, New Deal politics. You need universal health care, universal education, including higher education, eliminate the medical debt, eliminate the student loan debt, higher union density so that more people get better pay and better benefits, higher minimum wage, paid time off by law. Like, the answers were always social democratic. And again, to his point, yeah, like, I'm also in favor of tariffs, but they have to be targeted and they have to be paired with industrial policy to prop up the industries here that we want to thrive. And Trump is doing no industrial policy. There are no subsidies, and he's doing universal tariffs, not targeted tariffs. This is a nightmare. It is a recipe for a fucking depression. And look, we brought it all on ourselves, right? From the pre-Trump system to now the post-Trump system, all of this we brought on ourselves, and he refuses to point the finger where it belongs for all the downsides, which is the billionaires, the oligarchs, the robber barons, the multinational corporations, because he is a billionaire oligarch robber baron, and he loves corporations. And now what he wants to do in the wake of the market implosion is, let's do more tax cuts for the wealthy. That's his brilliant idea. So do universal tariffs, which is effectively a tax increase on the bottom 95% of Americans, a regressive tax. At the same time, we cut taxes for the wealthy. We're already in the midst of a class war where the 1% is screwing everybody. He wants to put that on steroids. He wants to make it so that working class people get screwed over even more.
You killed the hostage and then went, so ransom?
Some of the biggest stock market declines since the Great Depression.
The worst 3 consecutive sessions since 1987.
Even worse than it was during the 2008 financial crisis.
Their worst day since June 2020 during the COVID pandemic.
Financial destruction not seen since the pandemic. And this time, there's no controversy over how it all started. There's no wet market. You, Trump, released the contagion. It's your lab leak. And it's right out in the open. This is like if the researchers at the Wuhan Institute of Virology walked out to the Great Lawn with a Tupperware and went, we have an exciting announcement.
He's right. He's completely right. Yeah, man, we're cooked. We're cooked. The scariest development has been that now, as the stock market crashes, usually the dollar actually strengthens, right? Because people go in the safe direction, and the dollar as the world reserve currency is viewed as safe. Well, now we're seeing the stock market crash and the dollar get weaker, and U.S. debt get worse, and interest rates go up. So it is a worst of all worlds, and I literally don't even know what the Fed can do to try to fix this, because all of their tricks seem pretty fucking hollow when everything is tanking. In 2008, the stock market crashed, but the dollar strengthened. This is not that. People are literally turning away from the U.S. as the world reserve currency, and they're going, we don't trust you anymore. What do you do with a crisis of confidence that strong? What do you do? There are no simple answers. We're in for a lot of fucking pain, and it's all self-inflicted. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to. All right, y'all, welcome to the show. Holy cow, do I have a lot of stuff to get to. So in just a second, I have a challenge for everyone in MAGA. Let's see if any of them take me up on it. I doubt it, but it's worth a shot, so we'll dive into that. Also, we'll be discussing Trump's tariff insanity and how it's tanking the stock market and the economy more broadly. Really ugly, bro. It is getting really, really ugly. Then we'll talk about Gavin Newsom. It's about time we had a conversation about Gavin Newsom. He launched his podcast, and literally every show, he's talking to some far right-wing idiot. And it'd be fine if he went into that with the mindset of, I'm going to debate these people, I'm going to expose these people, I'm going to show how they're wrong. But he's not doing that. He's playing patty cakes. So I have a lot to say about that. Then we'll get to Trump hawking Teslas as the country implodes. He turned the driveway of the White House into a Tesla dealership. We'll talk about Elon nearly crying on TV as his business empire collapses around him. CNN obliterated a lying MAGA scoundrel to his face. Bernie is now shattering records at these rock star rallies that he's doing. That he's just packing them to the brim, and then he's got overflow rooms and overflow to the overflow rooms. And then also, I could not get through today's show without doing this, but we got another awesome Bill Burr clip. He cannot stop roasting Elon Musk, and I'm enjoying that thoroughly. So we'll talk about all that and more. Everybody do me a big favor. Please subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time and costs you nothing at all. Remember, guys, this is actual independent media. This is real grassroots media. You guys fund this show from the ground up. You guys tip on Patreon. That's how we make most of the money for this show. You also sign up on Substack for Crystal Kyle and friends. Never had a conversation with an advertiser, never done an ad read, never talked to a corporation, never talked to a billionaire or anything like that. And again, I'm deeply thankful you guys have made it possible for us to do that. Not many people in this space can do that. So you will never see me do an ad read, and that's why. So please consider supporting the show if you haven't yet. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. So let's start with this. As we all know, Mahmoud Khalil is a Columbia college student, and he was one of the leaders of the pro-Palestine protests on college campuses the other year, right? So at Columbia, they looked at the genocide that was being committed in Gaza with U.S. money and U.S. weapons, and these kids who have a conscience and have some basic morality were like, genocide is bad, so I'd like this to stop. I'm going to protest. There was also an angle at a lot of these colleges. I don't know if it was particularly the case for Columbia, but at a lot of these colleges and universities, there was money being taken from the from Israel going to these colleges, and they said, hey man, you got to stop taking that money. There's blood on your hands if you take that money, right? And so this guy was a leader in those protests. Well, guess what just happened? Trump came through on his promise on the campaign trail when he said, we're going to deport pro-Palestine protesters. But this actually goes even above and beyond what one would think, because this guy was a legal permanent resident. He had a green card. So this is basically like a pubes hair length short of just rounding up an American citizen, detaining them illegally, and like a native-born American citizen, and then trying to send them somewhere. Because this guy, this is not supposed to be in the cards for something like this. This isn't...
Come on. Give me something good. You will greet death soon and with great cowardice. 6 in a row. How'd they fit on that little die? These are so cool. Hey everybody, welcome back. Or just welcome. In which case, like and subscribe. Are you enjoying that, economy? You know, because Donald Trump is back in office. Did you hear about that? He is wheeling and dealing and burning and churning and burning and burning and burning and burning. So naturally, our economy is doing really great now. Let's see.
The number of people filing for first-time unemployment benefits.
So why did you just rip up my sign?
Because it's fucking wrong.
Okay, but why are you a fascist? Why don't you let me disagree with you?
Why are you a fascist?
not here to fight you. I'm here to yell at you. I'm not here to fight
Okay,
you.
but why are you so angry, honestly? Like, are you pro-trans?
What the fuck is with that question now? No. 4-week one-on-one coaching is $500. This guy charges $500 so he can call you to teach you how to debate. So there's a debater that's been on Jubilee a couple times that you may have seen, who is probably the most smug, arrogant motherfucker that has ever been on a show ever. And we've seen Parker and Dean on there before. His name is Eleazar Perez, and the way this guy debates, there's just so much fucking wrong about him. We're going to go over a segment from his debate with Dr. Mike. But instead of pointing out all the stuff that he says wrong, or we will point that out, besides doing that, I'm also going to talk about his rhetoric and why his way of debating is arguably the worst I've ever seen. Or maybe not the worst I've ever seen, because this type of rhetorical style he uses is so fucking prevalent in the debates. space, and I'll be going over exactly why it is so ineffective in just nothing more than trying to get 15 minutes of fame kind of rhetoric. We're going to be going over how he speaks and why it's so fucking shit.
My next claim is that RFK Jr. is a public health threat.
And I'm also fast forwarding it by 1.5 times, so.
Good to see you again, sir.
Yes, sir. So why do you think he is a threat?
I think when you're trying to put someone in a position of authority of a health agency, you want it to be a person who understands science and follows factual narratives.
So if RFK appeals to other experts that are anti-vax because they've seen sufficient evidence otherwise, would that be heretical as well?
I think that RFK's stances of why he's a public health threat go past the anti-vaccine stances. He's made public statements that HIV doesn't cause AIDS, that poppers, which is a party drug or a recreational drug that people use, is really the reason why AIDS exists. That is not someone who clearly understands science, and I don't want them in charge of a health agency.
Okay, assuming he does become head of the health department, wouldn't he now technically be considered the expert, not an expert, but the expert?
Oh my fucking god. Okay, we're already off to such an amazing start. The expert. What he's saying, because he's talked about this before, the Dr. Fauci shit. He thinks there is this idea that there is one person who is the expert of the science. And for conservatives, they think that this man for the left is Dr. Fauci. And that's what this guy is basing it off of, because RFK Jr. is going to be taking his place pretty much. But the issue is, it seems like he's never ever actually fucking listened to the left, because the entire argument is that science is based on consensus, and what's considered scientific fact is based on scientific consensus, not the words of one man, like the fucking Bible. And by the way, just to say, Dr. Mike, the way he has talked to all of these people throughout the panel is really good, and I do think he is much more effective with his rhetoric. And I'll kind of go over the difference between how this guy talks and how Dr. Mike talks.
If he put something forth that was anti-vax, and he said we have sufficient evidence to prove this, and then other medical experts such as you, which are pro-vax, went against it, wouldn't now you be categorized as the wrong ones?
No, because
that's not how that fucking works. Nobody has ever said that's how that fucking works, by the way. Nobody on the left, presumably on the right, just because they think Dr. Fauci is like the spawn of Satan or something like that. These people, these supposed experts that he appeals to, aren't wrong because they're wrong or like some sort of arbitrary line is drawn in the sand. It's because they're not in the consensus. They're outliers. Like, you have these professionals who say a bunch of things, who make a bunch of claims, like Dr. Gundry or Dr. Oz, who are considered quacks because they pull stuff straight out of their ass. They completely lie. That is the kind of people that this guy relies on to be able to get his views and get his arguments. And it's obviously fallacious for very obvious reasons.
Because it's not based on a single person's opinion. This is a consensus-driven statement, driven by thousands of doctors, dozens of agencies, not just here in the United States, but worldwide as well.
Okay, do you allow your patients to write bad reviews about you if they had a bad experience?
It's not my choice to write it or not write it.
No, do you allow them? Or would you remove it?
No.
No what?
I would not remove it.
Okay, so if we look at Facebook, Google, YouTube, they suppressed so many anti-vax posts, legitimate declarations of they were injured, serious deaths. ABC News went on Facebook and they posted a simple question. Who do you know or yourself that was seriously injured from the vaccine? Over 200,000 comments that were then removed by Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg just went on Joe Rogan and he said that Joe Biden, the Biden administration, forced them to censor people. So if someone really believes in their product, why would they do mass censorship to hide it?
Just keep in mind, I want you to look at the prompt at the top. RFK Jr. is a public health threat. How does that address the prompt at all? He's going off topic because he expects Dr. Mike to blindly argue in favor of whatever the government wants to do. The issue is Dr. Mike's not a debater. He's a doctor, and he's a pretty good one at that because he doesn't go outside of his scope of practice necessarily, especially in this case here, as you're about to see in a second. One of the issues that I have with this guy is the fact that he doesn't treat this like a discussion, like he's trying to change people's minds. What he's treating this as is a debate where he wants to get a bunch of fucking viral clips to be able to get his 15 minutes of fame.
I'm a family medicine doctor. I have no idea why they're censoring certain websites or not censoring certain websites. So, like, that's outside of my scope.
Well, that's outside of your scope, but just using logic, just using reasoning. You said you would not remove your patients as bad reviews, so why would we allow these experts to then remove them, those kind of critics?
That's not his job to fucking tell you why. He's a doctor, dude, not a debater. If you want to debate somebody who's going to blindly suck off the government under the Biden administration or some shit, go talk to fucking Destiny, right? Because that's not what Dr. Mike's here to do. He's here to talk about the fucking prompt, you absolute jackass.
Who is the author of misinformation?
Yeah, so misinformation, first off, is predicated on the fact that there's right information. Right information is going to be predicated on the fact that there's absolute truth. Does science state absolute truth?
There's no absolute truth, period.
What the fuck is he talking about? He doesn't know what science is. He believes in absolute truths, moral absolutism, because he gets all of his views from a fucking book from like 2,000 years ago.
Period.
Right.
In fact, there's a great book that I recommend everyone to check out. It's called The Half-Life of Facts, to see how what we consider now a fact, how quickly it could change. And in science, what I consider someone who would be a good fit and not a public health threat to lead the agency is someone who's aware that facts can expire, they can change, they can adapt, but they have sound logic as to why they make those decisions, and they don't make statements carelessly with bad information, knowingly bad information.
So if truth is provisional, this means that science, that right now you can be pro-vax, and next year when you see sufficient evidence, you can be anti-vax, correct?
You could.
Okay, perfect. So if there's no absolute truth within this realm, I don't know why we should completely rule out RFK Jr. and the other experts that he could appeal to.
The reason I rule him out is because he takes information that is not true, like that poppers cause AIDS.
Subjectively true.
It's not
That's called a non sequitur. Just because there's no such thing as absolute truths does not make every statement imaginable a subjective truth. It is not, there's no such thing as subjective truth in this case, especially when you can prove poppers do not cause AIDS. This is what happens when you're too fucking debate-brained and end up trying to find a gotcha. But instead of finding a gotcha, you sound like an absolute drooling lobotomite. How do we get from point A to point B, Elazar? It doesn't make any sense.
Objectively true.
For the time being, because you just said it's provisional truth, meaning it can change with time.
Right, but you can create any sort of statement, and in healthcare, we can't just go off of any statement because someone feels subjectively to be true. We have to do our best to do with limited information that we can. That doesn't mean we have zero information, we should just believe anyone. In fact, have you seen these podcast hosts who have protocols by which they
like
sleep, eat, or Gary Brecka or otherwise? The reason why I don't subscribe to their protocols is because anyone can make a claim about anything, just like RFK does with these statements. Until someone backs up these claims with good substantial evidence, and there is a hierarchy of what good substantial evidence is, we won't believe those stats. The same way that if you sat across from me right now and told me you're the fastest human on earth at 100 meters, you might be telling the truth. Provisionally, subjectively, it might be true. The only way I'll know it's true is if we have an Olympic timekeeper with an Olympic device measured with the proper measuring tape. Then I can witness it, and then I can see it's true.
Okay, pause.
Yeah, pretty much. Anything can technically be true, but you have to have some sort of basis for it. I just don't see how that logically follows at all. But we're not going to be going over any more of his the Jubilee debate, just because of the fact that last time I tried reacting to it on stream with a friend, I ended up getting a warning and my stream taken down. But the way that Dr. Mike talked to everybody else on this panel was extremely strong and a lot more substantive than the way this guy talks to other people, as you're about to see, because Dr. Mike doesn't just look for logical holes in what people say. He doesn't just look for rhetorical gotchas for a quick viral clip. What he does in the debate is something that I haven't seen before, which is show empathy to the other person and also somewhat concede ground in order to try to bridge the gap between them. Because if all you do is just spew facts or statistics or arguments at somebody, you're probably not going to ever change their mind. What you need to do is try to find some way to open them up and at least have them hear you out in a way that might make them reconsider their views. This guy doesn't do any of that. He just looks for money and fame. And I will tell you exactly why he looks for money and fame. I looked at his Twitter page, and he has a website called streetdebates.com. Hey, I'm Elazar. I'm not gonna fucking try to mimic his voice. Hey, I'm Elazar. I take my skills, knowledge, and expertise to the streets to challenge faulty worldviews, highlight moral issues, and guide others towards truth. Oh, and this is what fucking raised serious red flags for me when I first clicked this link. I also train and equip others to do the same. If you look at the top of the screen, you're gonna see how he does it. He does debate consulting. He doesn't do debate courses. He does debate consulting. And I want you to guess how much money he charges for this bullshit. 60 minutes. $75 for 1 hour of talking to this guy about how to debate. 4-week one-on-one coaching is $500. This guy charges $500 so he can call you to teach you how to debate. There are so many fucking good books out there about how to debate and improve your rhetoric. There's free videos from like Harper O'Connor and stuff. I read the whole book from Mehdi Hassan, his How to Win Every Argument book. Absolutely amazing, by the way. Go read it if you want to get better at debating and possibly even changing people's minds. It's one thing to sell a course because you can watch that over and over again at least. It's another thing to sell consultations. Become a revolutionary against what, dude? You want to preserve the status quo? You're a theocrat, dude. What the fuck do you mean become a revolutionary? Comprehensive guidance to elevate your skills. Kickoff call. Discuss your current level and goals to create a personalized roadmap. Weekly live sessions. Dive into key aspects of debate, argument structure, and persuasive tech. You could do this online for free or buy a fucking book off of for like $15 on how to debate, dude. Progress check-ins. Review your practice debates and adjust strategies. Content strategy. I didn't even see this when I first clicked on the website. Content strategy. Tailored social media guidance to start creating and sharing impactful videos. Expect consistent support to build confidence to sharpen your craft. Do you want to see what impactful videos looks like according to this fucking chud? First, let me just show you. You could donate to this man to talk to people on the streets, unprepared people on the streets, and get a rise out of them for $10, $25, $50, $100, or some custom amount. You can fucking make an account on this website? What the actual shit? Join the revolution. He has memberships, uncensored debates, early access, support the people actually sell it. What the fuck, man? This is part of the reason why I say he's not looking to change minds. He's looking to content farm and grift. If you ever see his Twitter, you will see how he posts. All he does is post clips from his debates and goes, I completely destroyed his career. I completely demolished this guy. And it's like, whose mind are you trying to change? What is the purpose of this outside of getting like 1,000 Twitter likes? And something that I saw recently was him adding Dr. Mike saying, would you be open to having a longer conversation on this? I would like a good faith dialogue with more than 3-minute exchanges. We're going to see what this guy considers good faith dialogue. Let's just look at his fucking channel real quick. Unhinged student attacks me and instantly regrets it. I ended Sam Cedar's career on Jubilee and it went viral. Debate. Trans woman claims kids should transition. Unhinged liberal confronts me and instantly regrets it. Confronting the man who owned Ben Shapiro on Jubilee. Elazar cooks pro-choice panel with ease. Does this come across as a guy who is looking to debate in good faith to you? Whose mind is this trying to change? Who on the left or what apolitical person is going to look at this fucking content and go, yeah, this guy's here for good faith. He's looking for genuine discussion. Absolutely fucking nobody. And I was just watching this one, as you could see. This is what made me decide to make this video. This video right here. I've only watched a few minutes, but we will rewind back. Let's look at the fucking coming up section, just so you can see what kind of stuff this guy does, which is good faith dialogue.
I am so mad at you right now, and that's fucking okay.
Debate me
Because
then.
if I'm a
You just
any hate your heart, get the f off of college.
You want to make me?
Why do you go out here harassing people
Did
like
I
this?
harass anyone?
What is harassment?
Have I harassed anyone?
I mean, you're harassing.
You came up to me. Oh, so now
harassing.
Dense? Are you dense? Are you using f***ing linguistics?
I am trained. I can defend myself.
Sure.
You're trained? You don't... What are you fucking trained in, dude? Are you trained to use a gun or something? Do you train in, like, kickboxing? I don't know.
I don't want to get into that, bro, but you're like forcing me to have to almost get into that. Are you pro-LGBTQ?
Forcing me to almost have to... Okay, we're gonna have to see what it looks like.
Are you guys supposed to be about love?
I'm choosing to stay.
Yes or no?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't...
Go watch Dora the Explorer. Okay.
And yes, I did.
You just conceded that pragmatically... Hey, shut up, man. Go. You're feminine. You're feminine. Go away. You're feminine. Go away. Yeah, be a man. Go away. See how that's how you shut him down.
Okay, listen.
They're betas. Yeah, we need strong men here.
Right.
Wait, you just said pragmatically, if it's better for society for women not to vote, you would probably be okay with that.
Dude, you're not listening to me. I also don't want to.
You don't understand.
You were very rude to someone.
I don't care. Yeah, you're emotional. That's why women shouldn't vote. They're emotional. Thanks for proving my point.
Good faith dialogue, according to this guy. I really don't know what the fuck people see in this man. Outside of stupid conservatives who just want to get a rise out of somebody and see somebody possibly get attacked because this dude just keeps strawmanning and he's purposefully trying to infuriate these people in order to turn this into a viral clip. That's all he does. That's pretty much his entire fucking career, as we saw on his YouTube page. Getting a rise out of people using fallacious tactics and especially debating completely unprepared people on the street.
Am I being recorded, by the way?
Of course.
I'm being recorded?
Of course.
You never...
I don't need your consent. No expectation of privacy in public. You should know this.
Let me double check that.
Yeah,
actually.
but California's a two-party consent state in terms of recording.
In public.
Is that
in public? Wait, in public?
Yes.
Are you sure?
It's a two-party
Is this a public university? Is this a public walkway?
So how it works is if you're recording me specifically,
Yes.
I have to get consent. In states like, for example, Alabama, it's a one-party consent
Not in
state.
public. There's cameras all around.
You can record people out in public, which, okay, he's right about that. Doesn't mean that he's not being a dick about it, though. He can always just walk away and not bother these people, which is called being a decent human being. But instead, he stays, tries to provoke them, and he ends up possibly getting attacked, or at least verbally assaulted by somebody because he ends up pissing them the fuck off.
I yell, it's not like out of emotions. It's like, I just love yelling, like, and when I'm debating, it's just fun.
So you love...
You like yelling when you're debating. What comes out of that? Why?
Yelling, which is an emotion, you fucking dingus.
No, because I don't lose control of my emotions. Like you lose control of your emotions.
You don't lose control of your emotions. You just snapped at these girls and told them to, like, make a sandwich or some shit, and then snapped at another guy saying he's like a beta male and effeminate. What the fuck do you mean you don't snap at people? That was just you like 2 minutes ago.
I am so mad at you right now, and that's fucking okay. Because if I'm a...
Debate me then.
Man, and I can be emotional, then women cannot be emotional. Because here's the thing, fucking idiot.
So they can both be
You
emotional.
think talking fast
back up.
means
I'll beat
that
the fuck if you don't back up, bro. Hey, back the fuck before I beat the fuck out of you.
Hey,
I'll beat the
Oh, back the fuck. Then walk away, dumbass. Why is he still there? Walk away. You don't have to be there constantly provoking this guy into punching you.
You right now. Yeah, I'll beat the fuck out of you. You just...
Sir,
Yeah.
sir.
It's not relax.
Yeah. You're an emotion. That's what you are.
Yeah.
It's funny when they think they're tough and they can't back it up. So you want to argue or do you want to fight?
I don't want to fight you.
Okay, so what do you want to do?
I didn't touch you.
Yeah, bro. What is this? This is a threat. If you're walking towards me, that's a threat.
How is that a threat?
That's a threat. You could have a gun, you could have a knife, you could punch me. I've been assaulted. I've been assaulted while doing this.
Yeah, I fucking wonder why you've been assaulted, dumbass. I could see why you're being assaulted if this is how you treat people in public. Did nobody teach you manners? This is supposed to be a Christian, by the way. This guy gets his morality from the Bible. I don't remember Jesus saying, go calling people bitches because they're getting pissed off that you keep harassing them for debates.
I'm not gonna assault you.
Go look up the statutes. If you're walking up towards someone and you look threatening, you're angry, I could take that as a threat. And technically, I could defend myself if I wanted to defend myself.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm not getting close to you anymore.
Okay, and so why did you just rip up my sign?
Because it's fucking wrong.
Okay, but why are you a fascist? Why don't you let me disagree with you?
Why are you a fascist? Why? This fucking shit. This fucking shit. Fascist is a buzzword. I didn't see that part. I stopped right here when I was watching, but I didn't know that he was gonna say that. Why are you being a fascist ripping up my sign?
Here, if you guys are happy, hey, don't touch my, hey, don't let her touch my stuff, Danny. Okay, okay, we'll stop. Okay, we'll stop. Okay, we'll stop. Okay, we'll get away from me.
By the way, just remember, this guy teaches you how to do this for up to $500 a month. $500 a month to learn how to harass people on the street. Amazing value, by the way. I surely don't know how to call people bitches on the street unless I pay this man $500 to teach me to do it for a month.
But,
You've asked to fight me. You've asked to fight me. I'm sitting down,
hey,
so you
it's all being recorded. It's all being recorded, so if you're saying that I'm...
all the fucking same.
Yeah, who's you? Wait, who's you people? Mexicans?
No.
Minorities? Oh, you're a racist. Oh, so you're a racist.
Oh my fucking god, he's so intolerable. Now he's pulling the race card. Nobody cares that you're fucking Mexican, dude. You're the bitch. It doesn't have to do with being Mexican. It has to do with your personality.
You're a racist.
Shouldn't vote, obviously.
Okay, and that's an opinion. So what? How's that harassment? Make an argument. How's that harassment? It's an opinion. I'm standing by myself.
Make an argument about how I'm harassing you when I call you all these fucking names and tempt you to fight me. What the fuck are you talking about? It keeps getting more mind-numbing as time goes on. He keeps saying more and more stupid shit.
Have to almost get into that. If you would have swung at me, if you would have attacked me, I would have had to take different measures, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, okay, I hear that.
I come here to debate, bro. It's not like that serious. If you disagree, you disagree, but it's not like...
You're here to debate, not get punched. So walk away. At least walk to another fucking place on the campus or something. You don't have to stand right there in the same spot with the same people. You can always walk away.
My problem with you is that your way of getting fucking content and your way of manipulating people who... I'm fucking 22. How old are you?
So every time
I don't disclose my age.
You don't disclose...
Yeah, I fucking wonder why, dude. You're probably in like your 30s. Harassing people on the fucking street, trying to get gotcha clips and stuff like that, calling people names as they're walking away. You disclose your fucking name, but you don't disclose your age? Why? Your full name is on the internet, dude. Right there. And it's also in your fucking username. Why don't you disclose your age? We already know who you are. We can fucking find you if we want to. I'm personally not, just because I don't give a shit to.
So if we have a different moral subjective belief, right?
Yeah.
Your belief is not more right than mine, subjectively.
Sure.
Okay, so what's the disagreement? If it's all if it's all a preference. Like if you like pineapple on your...
Some morals can be more logically grounded than others. Just because you have a moral stance doesn't automatically make it valid in the sense that it's logically grounded. There's not really any logical reason that women can't vote that is not based in reality, such as the idea of women being emotional and stuff like that. Men can be emotional too. And there are studies to show that women aren't really that bad when it comes to like emotions and stuff. There's a difference between having your morals grounded in logic and having them grounded in just for the fucking hell of it, right? Or having them grounded in a book written by a bunch of old people.
Why do you like...
Hey, why do you act so tough and then you say, I'm a kid, you're gonna beat up a kid, honestly?
I'm not acting tough. I'm not asking you to beat me up. I'm just asking you to eat.
I know, but like...
I'm not here to fight you. I'm here to yell at you. I'm not here to fight
Okay, but why are you so angry, honestly? Like, are you pro-trans?
What the fuck is with that question out of nowhere? Why are you so angry? You know what? Are you pro-trans? What the fuck? I'm at a loss. I don't even know what to say about that. It's just so random.
Of course, man can... You are a perfect example. Of course, man can be emotional.
Yes.
Yes.
And why is that bad?
Bro, because I talk in generality. So generally, women are more emotional than men. Not every single woman, not every single man. Generally, we see that.
Right. Generally based on what, dude? You have literally no basis for that. That's a myth. And you're telling me the women are generally more emotional? Your entire fucking religion is based on emotions, dude.
Does that mean that women shouldn't vote?
That's not the argument. Bro, I don't want to have a debate though.
You don't want to have a debate though. What have you been doing standing there with the sign then this entire fucking time and screaming debate me at the guy like 5 inches from his face earlier? Like,
it was fun because we have discussions. I go all around the country, debate, like having fun. Everyone's respectful.
You go around the country trying to piss people off so they assault you for content.
Assault me, but usually it's people respectful. So you did ruin the fun in that sense. I post this on YouTube and I have fun with it.
I'm glad I ruined the fun because I disagree with what you think is fun.
Well, at the same time, bro, I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna go really viral, like really viral. So.
45k views in 2 weeks. That is so viral. This is not 2017 to, what is it, 2019, 2020? We're in 2025 now. The whole owning the liberals shit died out years ago. So no, you're not going to go viral. You're going to remain at under 100k views because you're catering to a dying audience of brain-dead conservatives who clap like seals at seeing somebody get pissed off because you say the most asinine shit imaginable. You should be able to see why this kind of rhetoric, this kind of style of debate is absolutely unproductive. All it does is piss people off and make your side clap like seals. And not even all of them, just some of them. The really fucking brain dead ones who have never ever been interested in good faith debating or conversing at all. This is why I say he's never going to change anyone's minds. Or if he does, it's going to be a really fucking stupid person who knows literally nothing about politics or is just really prone to being easily indoctrinated into whatever ideology of the first person he sees owning a liberal or a conservative or whatever like that. People want to hear the truth. Whether or not you were able to properly communicate that is what really matters. And there's different ways of communicating it. There are different videos talking about how you can officially debate and change minds and stuff like that. This is not one of them. Calling people names, trying to poke logical holes to the point where you accidentally say something super fucking stupid like poppers causing AIDS is subjectively true, pissing people off until they want to punch you in the goddamn face. Nobody's mind is getting changed by that. Elazar, if you fucking see this, I've been in the debate scene for about 6 years now, ever since like 2018, 2019-ish. If you see this, I just want you to know the way you talk to people is not going to change minds.